Hello and welcome. I'm John A. Torres, engagement editor for Florida Today. And today we'll be talking with incumbent Melbourne Mayor Paul Alfrey, former Mayor Kathy Meehan, and involved citizen Hazel Buggs, who ran for mayor in 2020, as all three vie for the top spot in Melbourne this November. Welcome, everybody. With me, but
Welcome.
not on the screen right now, are the members of the editorial board. Tim Walters, our sports editor, and executive editor Mara Bellaby. Thanks for joining us, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank
you for having us.
Of course.
Thank you.
Why don't we start with having you all tell us a little bit about who you are, why you're running, qualifications, etc. You'll each have 2 minutes, and we'll do this alphabetically. We'll start with Mayor Paul Alfrey, and then Hazel Buggs, and then Kathy Meehan. So, Paul, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. And again, thank you for hosting this debate among the candidates. And thank you, fellow candidates, for coming on. As a lifelong resident of Melbourne growing up here, this is our hometown, my hometown, and it's good to see everyone engaged in our community. But a little bit about myself. Again, I grew up here, served my community for many years. I currently serve as the mayor of the city of Melbourne for the past 4 years. And prior to that, 4 years as vice mayor and District 5 councilman. Before that, I served as a police officer for the city of Melbourne, canine officer, and field training officer. And before that, I was in the United States Coast Guard, served as a boarding officer and a rescue swimmer. During this time, I've also started several businesses. So I'm in the business community. I do a lot in the community, trying to give back to the community. And again, that's why I love my community so much. A little more about myself. Growing up here, I went to Johnson Middle School. I went to O'Galley, went to Eastern Florida before going off in the military. Currently, as mayor, I serve on the Airport Authority Board, the Melbourne Affordable Housing Committee, and work with the Melbourne Regional Chamber of Commerce. So again, it's been an honor and privilege to serve as the mayor, especially of a hometown that you grew up in. And again, this is going to be a great debate today.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now we go to Hazel Buggs. Hazel, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're running?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this invite to have this opportunity to speak to the voters. Hello, voters and citizens of Melbourne. In the 2020 general election, yes, I ran for mayor and received at least almost 30% of the votes out of 4 candidates. I want to become your mayor to represent all, and I emphasize all citizens of Melbourne, regardless of color, race, or creed. Because together we can create a city that honors its past, addresses present challenges, and embrace a prosperous future. My roots and commitment run deep in community service. I have served the Melbourne community for over 40 years. I am presently a professional realtor, etiquette consultant, associate minister, prior business owner, and present president of the Friends of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Library. I served on the Melbourne Downtown Redevelopment Advisory Board and the Community Action Board to the Brevard County Commissioners, just to highlight a few. I have a master's degree and honorary doctorate of divinity. My campaign for mayor is grounded in my vision and commitment to creating a safe, progressive, and inclusive city. I am a dedicated leader and seasoned advocate with a rich history of public service and community engagement. I'm ready to bring my experience and visionary leadership to the forefront of Melbourne's political landscape. Thank you.
Okay, great, Hazel. Thank you very much. And now we will speak with former Mayor Kathy Meehan.
Thank you, John, and thank you for allowing us to talk about our city. I'm running for mayor because I have a deep love for our city and its rich history. The Meehan family has been rooted in Brevard for 5 generations. Dennis and I have been married for 40 years and have lived and raised our family here in Melbourne. I graduated from Florida Tech in 1992 in psychology with honors. Meehan's Office in Art Products was established in 1921, and we are celebrating over 100 years. I manage a veteran family-owned business in downtown Melbourne. The Meehan family has always done business with honesty and integrity. And like I always say, we sell pencils on the street corner. As far as my experience, I've been on city council from 2004 to 2012, became mayor 2012 to 2020. I was vice chair of the Melbourne Orlando Airport Authority, trustee board member of the Melbourne Regional Chamber, board member of the Space Coast League of Cities, president of the Space Coast Transportation Planning Organization, a board member of the League of Mayors, board member of the Florida League of Cities, and has won several Hometown Hero Awards. So with my experience, leadership, and commitment, together we can make a difference and build a great city. So please visit my website, meehanformayor.com. And thank you to everyone.
Okay, great. Thank you, folks. For each question, we'll also give you 2 minutes to answer. Okay, and we'll alternate. So we'll start with Hazel for this one, and then Kathy, and then Paul. Okay. I've been asking some of our reporters and like folks I know about issues in Melbourne. You know, what needs to be addressed, and I've been hearing a lot about how the downtown Melbourne retail corridor is enduring some rocky economic times with diminished foot traffic. Why is this happening, do you think? And what would you do if elected to address this problem? So we'll start with Hazel.
Thank you for the question. Yes, just recently, it is an issue. It is a problem, especially when I hear the business owners come to the city council meeting and air those grievances of crime and just simply nuisance activity going on. I just recently had an opportunity to meet with some of the senior citizens who enjoy the downtown atmosphere, and their concern was the same, you know, unwanted attention, and unfortunately that goes with city territory, it seems, but it shouldn't. So as mayor, one of the things I would love to address is that issue and to find out what can continuously be done. The downtown area is a beautiful area. I love going down restaurants and shopping, but at the same time, you know, it's open to the public and everyone is privileged to it, but we do want to redirect that energy into a more positive way of life for those that are there.
Okay, great, thank you, Kathy. The same question: the downtown Melbourne, you know, retail corridor, and what's happening there, and what would you do to help improve that?
All right, good question, John, because Meehan's is right there in the middle of downtown Melbourne, and we are certainly a family business with other small businesses. We've never, as far as myself and employees, and I can speak for a few other business owners, we were never afraid of downtown. What people are afraid is what they're hearing on the news and on the internet and Facebook. So as far as we are going through a transition, that's why a lot of people had asked me to run again for mayor. I was instrumental in getting the Highline Apartments and Hotel Melby in downtown Melbourne. So they want me to continue with the redevelopment in downtown, and I'd be glad to have that challenge. I'm hoping that we do have officers driving around and they come in our store, ask us if we have any issues. So we do have a partnership with the Melbourne Police Department, and I'm thankful for that. We do have cameras installed. They are up and running. And so it's just a matter of getting out there and telling people, hey, it's safe. It's okay to be out here in downtown. We do have tourists come in from all over the country, and including England and Switzerland. We've had everybody. And so I will continue to preserve the downtown area and keep it going. I definitely support small business, and I want to keep that going too.
Okay, great. And lastly, but not leastly, we have Mayor Paul Alfrey. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, thank you. Well, downtown Melbourne is very special. The city of Melbourne has two downtowns. They have downtown O'Galley and downtown Melbourne. And downtown Melbourne has different challenges than they do in downtown O'Galley. I've met with many of the business owners in downtown Melbourne. Matter of fact, Ms. Meehan mentioned the Highline, the owner that endorses me for re-election, as well as many other businesses in downtown Melbourne. As a matter of fact, last year in 2023, I was named Florida elected leader for all of Florida for Main Streets. So the thing is, again, it's normal challenges. As being a former police officer, we've addressed many of those issues. We've installed cameras. We've got officers on bike patrol. And the reality is it's just going to take a little time for people to understand that downtown Melbourne is safe. It has over 300 small businesses, people just working very hard every day to deliver a product. So I'm very comfortable with where we're heading. It's only going to get better in downtown Melbourne with the upcoming streetscape and the changes and the new development in downtown Melbourne. Those businesses will continue to thrive. I take frequent meetings. Matter of fact, tonight at 7 p.m., I have a meeting with another downtown Melbourne small business that supports my reelection. So I'll be talking to him about some of these changes as well. So again, those changes are coming. It does take a little time, but we're working very hard at the City of Melbourne in conjunction with Melbourne Main Street to solve these challenges.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now, with this next question, we'll start with Kathy, and then Paul, and then Hazel. Is that right? Okay, yeah. It's hard to keep track sometimes. Sorry. So, sort of related to that first question, Executive Editor Mara Bellaby and I, we recently attended a presentation by Jeff Noose of the Daily Bread, talking about the homeless situation. What is your solution to homelessness that seems to be growing? I'm not sure if it actually is growing up, but the population seems to be growing. At least that's what we hear. What would you do to help alleviate some of that problem?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it is an issue with the homeless. I do feel that it is growing. We in downtown work with the police department on some of the individuals that are out of control and they need to be Baker Act. So we do work with the police department on that. As far as in the future, I will work with the nonprofits and the police department and circles of care. We do need to find a solution. I know it was mandated by Governor DeSantis that the cities and county need to come up with a solution. And that's what we need to do. We need to work together.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think up next we have Paul Alfrey. Same question.
Actually, we've been working on this for the past couple of years. Myself and the director, Jeff Noose, we have gone to other cities like Palme addressing what we're going to do to evolve the issue. Traditionally, Daily Bread has been a soup kitchen for around 30 years. And now the evolution going into Providence Place will actually work on more of affordable housing with addressing more of a mobile unit. City of Melbourne is the only city that actually has a outreach coordinate. We fund it through our budget. So we're going to continue doing what we're doing. And you're going to see a big transition with the next couple of years with me as mayor, as wrapping up, getting into more affordable housing, working with Providence Place, many of our community partners that I meet on a regular basis. So to answer your question too, homelessness is something that me and many other mayors, we inherited. It's only getting worse. And again, we have to address it head on. Normally, homelessness, something many mayors don't like to talk about, but as you know, and my record shows that I've been addressing this since day one, working for everyone to bring a solution and to improve downtown Melbourne and the City of Melbourne.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Hazel Buggs, the same question.
Yes, thank you so much. This is such an important issue, homelessness. Not only is Melbourne experiencing this, but our sister cities have the same problem also, because the need for more affordable housing is still necessary to prevent people from being pushed into homelessness. Everybody that's out there don't necessarily want to be out there. Some people have lost their jobs or et cetera. So the city council designated a portion of city's federal fiscal year 2024-2025 community redevelopment block grant funding to go to programs to prevent homelessness in our community. For example, Family Promise of Brevard, they were issued about a little over 16,000. Those, and their primary mission is those people who are at risk of experiencing homelessness. Also, Ways for Life, they were also issued about 15,000, and that's for aging out of foster care. And also, there's another one right over here in the South Melbourne, Edna Jackson Pantry. They are going to be issued about 16,000 to provide hot meals, food, clothing, and personal hygiene. You know, it's an issue, but we have to deal with it. One of the things that I do want to incorporate is the ecumenical community, the pastors who have programs in their church services that can offer, help with the city, this particular problem. So I plan to collaborate with those who have the heart and the interest to see people progress off the street into proper housing.
We've been hearing a lot about affordable housing and the homeless. Is the city of Melbourne able to do anything with regards to affordable housing for those middle income working folks that just are finding it really hard to find a place to rent? I know that my son makes a pretty decent living, and he had a really hard time trying to find a place that he could afford. Is there anything that can be done? Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, and that's a great question, and it really would be answered in two different ways. One, for people that already have homes. City of Melbourne right now, we have the lowest tax millage in a decade under my leadership. We've also created an additional $10,000 exemption for seniors, qualified seniors, to help keep them in their houses. So something with lower taxes so people pay less, that helps with the pocketbook. Number two is other people, for example, seeking homelessness. We've put a portion of the CARES Act money, about $4 million total, into affordable housing, and really to try to address some of the homelessness, because really they kind of go hand in hand. Some people that are homeless are seeking housing. Some people already have houses. So we're doing it on multiple fronts. But again, with lower taxes, better job development, better paying jobs, we've done that. And when you put all that together, I believe that will help keep people in their home, and it also will help people get a home that couldn't normally afford it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hazel, the same question, please.
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is definitely an issue. Being a realtor myself, affordable housing, this is an ongoing concern. As more household budgets are struggling to afford a home, and cost of living it continues to squeeze the household budget, the need for more affordable housing it's necessary. It's necessary to prevent people from being pushed into homelessness. There are some programs now that are available, such as the Florida Hometown Heroes program. If you meet those criteria, first-time home buyers with full-time employment with sufficient income, that is available to them. Also, the city works with local nonprofit partners and managed state and federal grant programs to help address the lack of affordable housing, such as the Street to the Home program, which helps those who are living on the street to transition into stable housing. Also, just recently, 2023, the City Council approved an additional homestead exemption of $25,000 to help the citizens over the age of 65 with limited income continue to afford to stay in their homes. So this is an ongoing problem, but listen, as mayor, I'm going to be on top of it. I'm going to make sure that these programs and the citizens understand and apply for these programs.
Okay, great. Thank you. And now we have Kathy Meehan. Same question.
All right. Thank you, John. In fact, on the Street to Homes, I was able to do a workshop under my leadership and was able to do the $50,000 at that time to Street and Homes. Now it's Daily Bread is administrating that money. As far as affordable housing, I definitely will support more, but yet be responsible. We don't need an 8-story apartment in zoning that doesn't approve of that. So the we need to tweak the law that says that the city of Melbourne has the authority to decide what goes where. So I will be definitely on top of that. So thank you very much. Oh, and John, let me add one more thing. As far as taxes, the taxes back in 2010 was the low of was 5.12. In fact, in some years it was down to 4.5228. So certainly the tax this year is not the lowest as far as city of Melbourne.
Okay, thank you. And now we have a question from executive editor Mara Bellaby. So we're going to bring her into the studio to ask it.
Hi guys, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to ask each of you if you have seen or researched an initiative that another city, whether in the county or the state or even the country, has experimented with or tried that you would like to bring to Melbourne.
Well, that is a good question because I believe that it's with the the cities around us. There is a league of there's a league that meets cities that meet on a monthly basis, I believe, and I'm sure because of that meeting, there are a lot of ideas that will come forward. But I definitely would do research and anything that can improve Melbourne to make it a better city or the cities around us. Of course, I would be very open to whatever their initiative is to follow suit to bring to this city.
Okay, great. And now, Kathy, the same question.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Yes, I love research, especially family research. But if there's anything better than what Melbourne's doing, I am all for it. That's why I became a member of the Florida League of Mayors and the Florida League of Cities. And I also like the Space Coast League of Cities. So certainly, if there's anything we can do to make our city better, I'm on it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Paul, the same question, please.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. Again, I think this is probably one of the reasons I was named 2023 Florida Local Leader of the Year for Florida Main Streets. I've been to many other downtowns, and we'll start with downtown Melbourne. It needs to be more walkable. The streetscape design that we're doing, I think that's going to change that a lot. More outside dining, better lighting, more police presence, police on bicycles. We have that. I think that's going to change the landscape and actually support the businesses in downtown Melbourne. We want a more walkable city, also a clean city. We want to ensure that our tax-paying residents have a clean city, cleaner streets. So there are many things that are again, that I'm working on. When you talk about being a mayor, I've been the mayor for 4 years, and another 4 years, I do have a plan that, again, this is when it's all put together, it's going to be a much better city, a city that I'm from, a city that I grew up in. So again, there's other things that can be done. I am going to other cities. I've been to many downtown. I've been up to Volusia. Matter of fact, I got a call from the Volusia mayor. We kind of discussed a little bit of the stuff that was going on up there. And again, we're going to see a drastic change within the next 4 years if I'm mayor for this city.
Okay, great. Thanks. Now I'm going to bring in our sports editor and he's an editorial board member, Tim Walters. He has a question for you folks, and we're going to start this one with Kathy, Paul, and then Hazel.
Yeah, so as somebody who's a longtime Brevard County resident and who uses Melbourne's roads recently, the area between Post Road and Pineda, especially on Wickham, can just be an absolute nightmare to traverse. And, they've added a stoplight kind of up there by Backwater and Salsas, which kind of contributes to the backup at the Pineda. And then you've also got, they're adding that big market right down there, kind of by the back entrance to Holy Trinity. What can be done to address especially that corridor? Because I think as far as Melbourne goes, obviously 192 is always kind of a backed up mess as well down by the mall and whatnot, in West Melbourne too. But that one area between Post and Pineda is a growing traffic problem. So are those being looked into?
So that's a good question. That is one of my high priorities is roads. So I would definitely be in touch with Georgiana from the Space Coast TPO and also the county commission. But yes, that is always my concern because there are several roads in Melbourne, like Melbourne Avenue, 192, Evans Road, which is now under construction. Thank goodness. That took a lot of years. I also was instrumental in getting the Apollo Boulevard extension through. So yeah, that is my top priority, as well as Ellis Road, to 4-lane Ellis Road, which needs another additional $40 million for that. So yes, I'll be working on those as mayor. Thank you.
Okay, great, Kathy. Thank you. And now we have Paul with the same question.
Okay, so actually that's already being addressed. I travel that very frequently on Wickham Road. It is part county, it is part city, so we have to work together with the county, and we're doing that. One of the things that you could do when you talk about traffic is definitely at the timing of the lights. When you go to one traffic light and then you go and then you get stopped by another one, that creates a traffic issue. So we have been working on timing those lights. If you notice that we've hardened our infrastructure under my leadership, and we put the traffic lights on the hurricane poles as opposed to wires. That's one of the reasons we only had a few days of power without power instead of a couple weeks. That and the help of the hardworking men and women, of the power companies. But besides that, you want to have the lanes. You got to be able to get off the road. You need the appropriate turn lanes. What we've seen, and I grew up right in that area as a kid. We're about maxed up built at that area, so I don't really see much more building done because there's not much more room to build there.
Okay, great. Thank you. And now we have Hazel.
Thank you. Thank you. Definitely, my concern will be for the infrastructure of our city, especially the roads, because let's face it, thousands and thousands of cars travel, whether it is inside the city or on the main, such as US 1 or Wickham Road. I have an issue over in the south part of Melbourne when it comes to the improvement of roads. We have potholes constantly. Actually, I can show you a pothole right on my street now. However, I commend the city for that diligently coming out and filling it. But that is definitely one issue that I will be on top of, making sure that not only on top of it, but making sure I hear the voice of the people also. So I look forward to stepping in and being a part of it.
Okay, great. Now, we've mentioned Providence Place earlier. That's the affordable housing project that the Daily Bread is trying to get done in Melbourne. And I'm going to go Paul, Hazel, and Kathy on this one, order-wise. Do you support Providence Place, number one? And number two, what can be done to try to get the county more involved in supporting this project?
Absolutely. I was actually instrumental in Providence Place, and I worked with Jeff Noose on that. That is the affordable housing. And just, I know Ms. Meehan mentioned about being responsible on affordable housing. The state has preempted the cities. We can't do much. If someone wants to put up affordable housing, again, the cities don't have much of an option there. So that I just want to correct that on what she said. But absolutely, I do support Providence Place. That's going to solve the issue with downtown Melbourne and the homelessness. That will help it drastically. Melbourne will no longer have just a soup kitchen. As a matter of fact, Providence Place came to me and they want to evolve. Again, Daily Bread has been a great organization, but they've been in service for over 30 years. And now it's time for them to focus on affordable housing and serving the community as needed. So again, I do support that project.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Now we're going to go to Hazel.
Definitely, I support it. I've heard much about it. Affordable housing, there again, is an ongoing concern. And so to get the county involved, it sounds like we need to have a roundtable discussion again. and emphasize even more that this is a need that is going to be a continuous need. That just happened to be one of the affordable housing units that's available, to the people. So I definitely will be interested to converse or convince the county to get on board.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now, Kathy, the same question for you.
Yes, sir. Definitely, I will support Providence Place and also get the county involved. I think the other cities need to get involved as well. We do need more affordable housing, but it has to be responsible. Now, getting to Mr. Elfrey's comment, yes, right now, it isn't. The cities don't have control over it because of the code, but I'm hoping to work with our Brevard delegation and bring this issue back and tweak it so that the cities do have control. And that's why I support home rule. That's why I get a lot of the home rule awards. So definitely getting back to Providence Place, I will definitely work with the county and the rest of the cities.
Okay, great. Thank you. For this next question, we've spoken a lot about homelessness and affordable housing. What's the biggest issue facing Melbourne other than affordable housing and homelessness? And we're going to go with Hazel, Kathy, and then Paul.
Okay, thank you again for the question. Yes, definitely affordable housing and homelessness on the top of my list, but also I don't want to forget the Indian River Lagoon, because that is always going to be an issue that we need to be on focus with. It's still a major concern, the Indian River Lagoon, and the city of Melbourne has already taken several steps to support the lagoon, such as reducing nutrient runoff through a summer fertilizer and grass clipping, I believe, ban, which could be, those clippings could be blown into the storm drains. Also, by adding stormwater treatment, a stormwater system that regulates discharges. Also, shoreline restoration is a problem that's needed. Recently, a portion of, I believe it was Pineapple Avenue shoreline was restored, and that was eroding about 410 feet of it. We want to continue to educate the people about the lagoon through outreach activities and encourage their help to reduce pollution in the lagoon. The Indian River Lagoon influences jobs and property values and tourism and recreation. And so I'm looking forward to just being an advocate. I believe in 2026, I read that the commissioners is going to hopefully vote to extend the county sales tax about a half cent to help restore the Indian River Lagoon. This program will cost about $560 million over the 10-year period of time. So yes, I'm on board with the Indian River Lagoon, making sure that it's safe and that it's we're taking care of it.
Okay, sounds good. The same question for Kathy. What's the biggest issue facing Melbourne other than homelessness, affordable housing, etc.?
It's definitely the shootings that occurred in South Melbourne. So I definitely support law enforcement and first responders. I attend the Melbourne Police Community Relations Council meetings every month and engage with the community, which is really important. Also, the Indian River Lagoon. I'm always going to protect the Indian River Lagoon. It's critical for our environment and our community's well-being, and it's shared by boaters and people that enjoy out there kayaking, which I see them out there in the river. It's so critical. Economic development. I definitely want to promote supporting local businesses and attracting new investments to our city, and also want to make sure that we have safer neighborhoods. So definitely, I have a lot on my list. Thank you.
Okay, great. And the same question for Paul.
Okay, yeah, and I will say the lagoon. Number one, the lagoon. We are doing amazing things in the city of Melbourne with all the baffle boxes and taking the nitrogen and the phosphorus out of the lagoon and cleaning the lagoon. I've been working with the Brevard Zoo. I've done videos with them on some of their restoration and what they're doing. If you go down O'Galley Causeway, you'll see all their materials that they're creating jobs, and they're cleaning the glue. And listen, I'm very proud of the Brevard Zoo. Cleaner streets and neighborhoods. That's very important. We have to ensure that our citizens have cleaner streets and neighborhoods. If you see some of these houses, they need to definitely be kept up. Under my administration, we now sue banks that allow houses to sit for many, many years. We had a house sit for nearly 20 years in foreclosure in Sherwood Park, but we got that shut down and cleaned up, and a nice family came in and bought that. So that, again, that helped everybody. Lower taxes. I mean, the thing is, people paying taxes. Inflation is killing everyone's pocketbook. As Ms. Meehan said, taxes used to be low back in 2010, but under her administration, they went up to the highest, and now under my administration, they're the lowest in 10 years. Couple that with exemptions, save our home cap. That means our residents pay less money in taxes. Also, cleaner parks. We put millions of dollars in our parks. We've redone both of our golf courses. They are now profitable. So again, we're a very well-run city. We're one of the best places to live in the nation. And because good government doesn't happen by accident.
Okay, great. Well, you guys are almost off the hot seat. We're going to ask you to make your closing remarks, but in your closing remarks, I'd like to ask Kathy and Hazel why voters should choose them over the incumbent, and ask Paul why he thinks he deserves another term. So we're going to go with Kathy, Paul, and then Hazel on this one. Make your pitch.
Okay, thank you. I am the best qualified to be mayor of Melbourne. I have a business in downtown Melbourne that's been very successful, and I will also transfer that into being the mayor. My family's been here a lot of years, and I have a degree in psychology, which helps because I do meet people. It's an open policy with me. You can come to Meehan's and talk with me about anything. And it gets back to honesty and integrity. And I'm very honest, and I will do that the same as mayor of Melbourne. So with my experience, leadership, and commitment, I will run this city, and it will be a great city. Thank you.
Okay, great. And Paul, why should people reelect you?
Okay, Melbourne's already a great city. It's one of the best places to live in the nation. I've started and ran 4 small businesses, started them from scratch. So I understand the small business community, and that's why many of the businesses, even downtown Melbourne, endorsed my reelection. Also, you look at all the groups that I've received endorsements from, whether it's the firefighters, the IAFF, I've received their endorsement. The police, the PBA, I've received their endorsement. The Space Coast Association of Realtors, I've received their endorsement. Even the Puerto Rican Hispanic Minority Empowerment Committee has endorsed me for my reelection. Again, taxes are low. We're cleaning up the streets. We have a lot to work to do, and Melbourne needs to move forward and not backwards. And I have anybody, if you have any more questions, my cell phone number has always been on the city website, so I'm available to you 24 hours a day. Thank you.
Okay, great. And Hazel, last but not least, why should people vote for you over the incumbent? Yeah.
Thank you so much. The reason the people should vote for Hazel Buggs is because she's committed. When I opened up my statement, I said I would be the mayor for all citizens, highlighting all, because this city needs someone that citizens can look to and feel comfortable and know that they are not afraid to come in various parts of the community. I live in South Melbourne. South Melbourne is a beautiful area, but yet it deserves even more better care than it has received under the prior administrations. I know Melbourne is located here on the Space Coast. There's the economic engine of Brevard County with high-tech universities and the historic downtown, and a great place to live and to work and retire and raise a family. I hope those of you who voted for me before have the confidence to do it again with an increase of voters to become the future mayor of Melbourne. With my strong background in community service and a passion for progressive change, I believe that together we can create a vibrant and an inclusive city that thrives on innovation and opportunity. My vision is to ensure that every resident feels heard and valued while fostering economic growth and sustainability. I invite you to join me on this journey towards a better Melbourne. Let's work together to bring about the positive change this city deserves. Visit me at my website, hazelbuzz.com, hazelbuzz.com. I need your vote.
Okay, great. Well, I want to thank you, Hazel and Kathy and Paul, for joining us here. I also want to thank Mara Bellaby and Tim Walters for joining us. I'm John Torres for Florida Today. Thank you for watching.